Naomi Feil calls the validation technique, use the preferred sense, her favorite, because it allows her to quickly get into the world of other people and use language that harmonizes with them. The preferred sense is a concept from neuro-linguistic programming created by Richard Bandler and John Grinder in the 1970s. In short, every person takes in information from the environment using one of the five senses, like a filter. Bandler and Grinder found that most people are visually oriented, but others are auditory or kinesthetic, which includes feeling, smelling, and tasting. When we can identify the preferred sense of another person, we can choose words that match, and in that way, on a deep level, connect and build trust. When we use the preferred sense to make that connection, we are speaking their language. Not every word that the other person says is a sensory word, like I understand or it's difficult. We must listen carefully to how the other person expresses themselves and what words they choose. In the following role play, we've tried to make this process clearer.
How are you doing today?
You want me to answer that now? Well, I could be doing better, but I'm doing as well as I can. I don't know if I got enough sleep, but yeah, I think I'm trying to stimulate my dormant brain cells into action so we can have a little more interesting conversation. So I guess on the whole, to answer your question, I'm doing all right. On a scale from 0 to 10, I would say an 8, between a 7 and 8.
Okay. And what have you got planned for today?
That is a very good question because my memory is terrible and it's getting worse. So I do forget what I'm going to do today. So I have to rely on this event schedule here. I'll show it to you. Here.
My goodness, that's a full schedule.
Yes. So today is Saturday, correct? The 8th? I'm looking, but I do not have anything for me after that. So I think, except to ask Eddie about opera tickets for November, which would be very nice. He says no. He says we cannot go to the opera.
How do you feel about that?
Pissed off. Of course, that's not a good term to use in a...
You're allowed.
Yeah? Okay.
How are you dealing with this COVID thing?
Well, I get pretty well because we don't go out that much anyway. And there hasn't been any plays. Like Ed and I don't, if we had a choice between the opera and a musical, we would go to a musical. We wouldn't go to the opera. So not going to the opera in November is not a terrible tragedy for us. However, I don't think we've suffered a lot with it since there are no... Well, what I used to do is I used to go to improvisational, and I used to go to different things, and now I'm not doing that, but it's not being offered anymore. So I think that's a loss.
So it hit you there. It hit you in going around and doing things.
That's right. And meeting people, because I don't see people.
That interaction.
Right. Even though the people in these classes are not my good dear friends, still I had interaction. And
Is it a sense of community?
is it what?
A sense of community?
With people in the drama group and yeah, it's something in common. And of course, for some people, you have a more the word that I'm using.
Camaraderie?
Yeah, some people, you have an instinctive kind of connection, and other people you don't. So
you're missing the connection.
yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
No one that I had that connection with,
Yeah. Okay, so how did I do on pulling out the sensory words? It seemed like you were kinesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you were able to help me say how I felt.
Experiment and train your ear to hear the word choices others make. Listen to the videos on this YouTube channel and write down the sensory words you hear. Try the experiment with a family member or colleague. Ask the other person to describe their most memorable dining experience or favorite vacation. Have fun as you integrate a new skill.